There are a lot of movers and shakers in our industry, and it is a great privilege and honor to introduce one of them to you today. It is Don Lindsay from BG Products. Don is a first timer here at the Fixed Ops Roundtable, but not to our industry. Don, welcome to the Fixed Ops Roundtable.
Ted, good morning. Thank you very much.
Hey, Don, Darren was here yesterday and gave us a whole tour of the Wichita complex. We got a chance to see the ins and outs, a lot of stuff our audience may not have ever had a chance to see. And both Darren and Peter speak so highly of you, Don Lindsay. So I know there's something magical about you, and I can't wait for this opportunity to, to speak a little bit, with you here at the event.
Very kind words. They're great people to work with, and their commitment to the industry is fantastic.
So, Don, tell us a little bit about your background and, who is Don Lindsay?
Don Lindsay is grew up in Canada, actually, and managed large retail department stores. And so lots of sales and operational background. And then at that midlife time frame, 2008, decided to jump into the auto industry and became a BG distributor out here in Oregon in 2008. Now, 2008 was an interesting time for the industry. So we had a lot of fun learning the ins, the outs, the downturns, the opportunities, because with any downturn, there's an opportunity. And so we were able to build a very successful distributorship out here in Oregon. And a year and a half ago, I sold my interest in the Oregon distributorship. Took about 4, 5, 6 months, and BG reached out and said, "Hey, would you like to work with us at the corporate level?" And I said, "Sure. What are you looking for?" And they said, "Well, we could use some help with Lithia. Lithia's headquarters is in Oregon, and I've formed many great relationships, both at the executive and the local level. And it's about friendships, relationships, and we helped their business. They helped us." And so I said, "Sure." So they made me a major account market sales manager. And my sole responsibility is Lithia. And so it's fun to travel the country, meet with distributors and Lithia personnel, just to grow their business and support.
Yeah. And I know you were just out here on the East Coast about a week ago, and you and I had a chance to talk a little bit about the industry. In your travels, Don, what are some of the challenges that you see right now for our friends in the retail auto industry?
I would say the common challenges I see, Ted, are people, people, and people. The challenge is whether it's retaining talent, whether it's acquiring, whether it's attracting. It's the challenge, a shortage of people, the retaining of people is a common challenge within the industry. We have a whole new group of people entering the operative. Fresh blood is what I call it. And that is awesome. It creates, these are great people, service backgrounds in many cases, but they don't have backgrounds in the industry. And so that creates a real need in order to address that reality. And so technician shortages, the work is there. The challenge is getting some of these. So that dynamic, I think, is common, whether I'm in Florida, whether I'm on the East Coast, I'll be in California this week. That conversation is played out many times.
And you hear so often that we're not just in the car business, we are in the people business, Don. And
True.
People has been a big discussion. Yesterday, Ed Roberts over at Bozard Ford Lincoln in the afternoon during his keynote, we talked a little bit about the opportunities now with the talent pool, and a lot of folks who are leaving the dealership and looking for greener pastures. But for Ed, it also opened up a huge talent pool to people he might not have had otherwise. Don, what do you think is critical to meeting these challenges right now of people?
I think we need to step back and take a simplistic approach. Some of the benefit of the travels I get to see is the great people within the industry, the talent, the innovation, the solutions. And so I would bring it down to 3 things. I would say leadership, great process, and great training are what's required to meet the challenges that I just mentioned above. And the leadership aspect is crucial. I mean, you see some great leaders out there, and they've figured out the way to balance the needs and the challenges with business needs, with employee needs, with guest needs, with customer needs. And so the ability for them to cast the vision and create those relationships for strategic partnerships. Leadership has that ability, and that's the solutions, the creativity. So leadership, I would say, is key. Great process, great training right behind that is critical.
Okay, so those three: leadership, great process, great training. Don, can you elaborate just a little bit more on those?
Sure. So the leader has the ability to cast and create the vision. They're adapting to change. There's tons of change taking. And so that drives innovation. I think, with the Lithia relationship, I watched them make small investments and then increase investments to create Driveway, which is a huge opportunity. And so it's leadership like that within the industry that the dynamic needs of customers change, the convenience that they're looking for, the ease, the simplicity. And it's that type of creativity that you see within the industry. Great process builds confidence with customers. And so I'll give you a reality what I see. I have the ability to sit on the drive, work with advisors, work with service managers, work with GMs and talk process. And with all the fresh blood that's coming in, these people arrive at work. And any given morning, whether East Coast, West Coast, Alaska, no matter where they are, they're faced with a customer who has needs. And they want, so I say there's 3 C's. They're faced, the challenges they face is this compliance from our space, from a maintenance point of view. They have compliance. The OEM would like service done in a certain manner at a certain time in a certain way. So they have to balance that. They have complexity. Every vehicle, whether it's a Crosstrek for your daughter, whether it's, doesn't matter what the OEM brand is, there's complexity to those VINs and the requirements and the timing. And then there's the consistency factor. If somebody's got 5 advisors, whether he or she, they have, if I was to phone in and ask for a 30K service, how much would that be? What are the chances I would get similar information, right? It's a challenge. Creativity, and I'll get to some of the solutions, but those are some of a good process has the ability to meet those challenges and deal with those challenges. And I would say great training because of that fresh blood that's coming in.
Yeah.
The need for 7 times, 7 different ways, training is critical in that aspect.
So, Don, how does the dealership, how do they tackle this?
I think one of the key things, there are so many things taking, the complexity of our business, the speed. I mean, you hear people looking at KPIs in real time. The amount of information and the data and the analysis is huge. I would say one of the biggest opportunities and the leaders that have found a way to create strategic partners, right? They take a look at their business, they see what they're good at, and then they align themselves with people that are of similar values, similar, and what they bring to the table. You can see a lot of people that sometimes they align with cost only, and they might get cost but no support. And so the ability for us to assess that need, and as the greater the complexity goes, it's those people that say, okay, my strategic partners are valued in getting me to my business needs, supporting my team, whether it's uniforms, our space, doesn't matter the vendor, what are they bringing to the table? And strategic partners are critical for that.
I got a phone call early in January, and it was Darren Gresseth at BG, and he says, "Ted, stop the presses. We have a new model, a new marketing model at BG." I go, "What's that?" And he said, "Well, Andy will be in touch, but BG Products is your partner beyond products." And he goes, "And that's what we're going to use as our mantra going forward." So, Don, what does it mean for BG to be your partner beyond products?
It's a great question. I mean, BG is renowned, and I say that respectfully, but it's renowned in the industry for quality products. I mean, from our R&D to our testing to ISO certification to technical data to case studies. If you talk to a technician or advisor, what you hear is it works, right? It's a simple statement. It works. But we are so much more than that, right? We're not what I like to say is a one-trick pony, right? There's all kinds of products out there that, for varying degrees, we are well known for great quality. But it's about people. We have 800 reps and support staff out there in the nation to service and support dealerships. These are trained professionals that go through BG University that then cascade that information, and whether it's shoulder-to-shoulder training, on the drive, multi-point inspection, walk-arounds. Andy has done a phenomenal job with augmented reality, with apps, with objection balls. So the ability of our team to be trainers. So we come alongside it. The reality of a service manager's job is they have so many plates spinning. The last thing they have the ability to do is run a maintenance program. It's those 800 individuals that have the ability as a strategic partner to support that piece. We have programs that are retention driven, our lifetime protection. I mean, the old saying is this, you give me 3 years of warranty, I'll give you 3 years of loyalty. You give me 5 years, and then I'm on to something. But if our lifetime protection is customers for life, and it supports that aspect. So again, retention programs. So people, trained professionals, multiple different ways of training, programs for retention. And then I'll just touch on the process piece of our smart VMA, which is electronic menus and multi-point inspections. I'll go back to that example. I've had this conversation with literally hundreds of service managers. You've got that new advisor on the drive, and they have to face the compliance, the complexity, and the consistency. And my simple question is, what tools are we providing in order for them to meet that challenge? The electronic menu levels that playing field. The customer comes in and they get the same consistent approach. It builds the associates' confidence. They get excited waking up in the morning. No, I've got a detailed plan. The customer gets the same information. And so it's those key priorities. It's the products are critical, but it's the programs, it's the people. And at the end of the day, the relentless focus on that is about profitability, right? In order to support our business partners. So we're excited about it. We're passionate about it. It is an aspect that really, I think it's a great tagline, because that's what BG is. So much more than products.
Finally, Don, what opportunities do you see ahead for 2022?
I think there's on the sales side, I think we're going to continue to see increased sales, higher gross. Obviously, the shortages are there, the chips, et cetera, but there are vehicles trickling in. So on the sales side, I think we're going to continue to see higher gross. Inflation may drive some of those prices up. On the fixed side, I tell you, there's huge upswing there. People will keep their cars longer. And in that scenario, maintenance is key. And a critical aspect is throughout the country, we have many high lease penetration areas. What we're starting to see very clearly is people buying out those leases, because that's the way they can purchase a car in a reasonable manner. And a lot of times they haven't done the maintenance. So from a fixed side, there is huge upswing on that opportunity. And so partnerships are key in order to be successful.
Don, I love it. Great advice. If our audience wants to learn more about BG products, or perhaps, Don, even get a hold of you, all right, what's the best way for our audience to get involved with BG products with all the things that you just told us about?
I would love to talk with them. The best way is give me an email, dlindsay at bgprod.com.
All right. Don Lindsay, great honor. I'm glad to finally meet you and help get our event kicked off today. Don, on behalf of the fixed ops community, thanks so much for all you do for our industry.
Ted, thank you very much for the opportunity. Outstanding work on the Fixed Ops Roundtable. Appreciate your work. Thank you.
Hey, Don Lindsay from BG Products here today at the Fixed Ops Roundtable.